Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm going to be doing a contest entry for Backwoods Metal. So he has, I think it's like over 330 subs or something like that contest. Or the theme is sloppy seconds. We have to show albums, sophomore albums by bands that aren't quite as good, in our opinion, as their debut album. So I got 5 albums. I actually couldn't find any metal albums in my collection that weren't as good as sophomore metal albums that weren't as good as the first one. So pretty much all these are hardcore punk. So yeah, and also so yeah, definitely check out Backwoods Metal's channel. I'll put a link to his video in the description, and so yeah, go over and subscribe to him. So yeah, and a lot of the albums on this list are gonna piss a lot of people off because these are all don't get me wrong, I love all of these albums on this list, but I just don't think they're quite as good as the debut albums by these, or the debut albums by all these bands. So yeah, this first one, this might piss off a lot of people, but in my opinion, Walk Among Us is just better than Earth AD from the Misfits. Don't get me wrong, this is still a fantastic album, but I feel like just Walk Among Us was just better in a lot of ways, especially production-wise. Walk Among Us was more well produced, and just I don't know, the overall vibe I get from Walk Among Us is better than Earth AD, because Earth AD, they changed their sound and they started going more aggressively and less melodically. Well, the songs are still catchy on here. They're not quite as infectious and as memorable as on Walk Among Us. So yeah, Earth AD from the Misfits is my first album on this list. So yeah, this one is definitely gonna piss a lot of people off. I mean, it's just my opinion. I still like this album quite a lot. I just prefer Walk Among Us. So yeah, first up, Misfits, Earth AD. And I'm not 100% sure if this would count, because technically they made Static Age before, so this technically is their third album, but it's the second one they wrote, their second studio album, so I guess it still counts. But Misfits, Earth AD, I just think that Walk Among Us is better. I don't know, it's just my opinion. Alright, next up, I'm pretty sure most people who listen to this band would agree with me on this. Self-titled sophomore album. I think that First 4 EPs is a lot better than this. It's just, I don't know, this is probably Off's weakest album out of all 3 of their albums so far. It's just not quite as good as the first album, in my opinion, First 4 EPs. It's the songs aren't quite as memorable. The lyrics aren't as pissed off or as aggressive and angsty. On this album, it's more well produced, which kind of takes away from that really raw, punch in the face hardcore punk that Off are really good at, that really nostalgic, LA hardcore kind of sound. But it's still a good album, but I just don't think that it's as good as First 4 EPs, so Off self-titled. I'm sure most people would agree with me on that one. The next one is also probably going to piss some people off. This album is very different from the first album of this band. That is Suicidal Tendencies with Join the Army. I still think this is a great album, but in my opinion, it's not as good as their self-titled, because, I don't know, a lot of people like this album more, and I think that their songwriting improved on here, but, their first album was better in a lot of ways. Although the first album is a little bit overrated, it's still my favorite album from them. But on this one, they're kind of lacking the more angst-ridden, lyrics and, aggression that they had on their debut album. Probably because this album came out something 4 or 5 years after the debut, and, I don't know. The production is also pretty crappy on here, but it's still a great album. It's just, I think the self-titled is better. So yeah, kind of a controversial opinion, but I don't really care. I don't know, and the songs aren't quite as fun on here. While on the self-titled, you had a lot of really fun songs, like Institutionalized, I Saw Your Mommy, Subliminal, I Shot the Devil, Suicide's an Alternative. On here, the songs are aren't quite as fun. They're still really good songs, but they're not as, I don't know, they're just not really quite as memorable, but I don't know, this is still a good album. But yeah, Suicidal Tendencies, Join the Army, it's just not as good as the self-titled, in my opinion. Next one, I'm sure most people who listen to this band might agree on, I don't know. This is AFI's Very Proud of Ya. I just think that Answer Man Stay Fashionable is better than this album. Because on this album, there's a lot of filler tracks. I feel like they just took every song that they wrote for this album and they just put it on it. And they didn't toss anything away. Because there's 20 songs on here, and I think that maybe out of all of them, 10 or 11 of them are the best one, are good. The first 8 songs on here are great, and then 9, 10, 11, 12 actually, yeah, like 9 through 12 are all pretty boring. And then track 13, Crop Tub is good, and then everything else is kind of boring until Two of a Kind. And then the rest of the album is good, but I don't know. Not quite as good as Amsterdam State Festival, because there's just a lot of filler on here. There's still some great songs on here, like He Who Laughs Last, Perfect Fit, and This Secret Ninja. But it's just not quite as fun as their first album, and there's a lot of filler on here, so yeah. Last album, also, I'm not sure if this one would count, because they're, because this is their first, this is like a second album, but it's kind of like, I don't know, because this is Gorilla Biscuits Start Today, and, their debut EP, most people would just say is their, debut album, because it's basically an album, but it's just referred to as an EP, I don't know, because this is the only studio album they released, so I'm counting this as their sophomore album. Still a great album, but not quite as good as the EP. The songs aren't as memorable as on the EP, and they're not quite as catchy, and they're more aggressive on here. I don't know, and there's a lot of, like, songs, there's not filler on here, but there's just songs that aren't as very memorable. Well, all the EP was just, like, perfect. This one isn't quite as perfect, but it's still a very groundbreaking and very awesome release. But, yeah, so the 5 albums I showed, I'm sure most of these, except for, like, the Off album and the AFI album, I think those are the only ones that people would probably agree on, because a lot of these albums are really popular. I still love these albums, I just don't think they're as good as the debut. It's just my opinion, I don't know. Sue me. I don't know. But yeah, so the 5 albums I showed: Gorilla Biscuits, Start Today, AFI, Very Proud of You, Suicidal Tendencies, Join the Army, Off, Self-Titled, and Misfits, Earth 80. So yeah, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Go check out Backwoods Metal, really great channel. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.